Good afternoon, everybody, and for one final time this season, it's a very warm welcome from the Broadfield Stadium here, where at 3 o'clock this afternoon, it's the final home match of the season for Crawley Town as they face a very out-of-form Walsall, looking for just 1 point to ensure themselves safety. We have an absolutely gorgeous day here in Sussex. It's a perfect afternoon for a game of football, and I'm delighted for the final time this season to be joined by former Crawley Town defender, skipper, manager, T-boy, kit man, all sorts of jobs, Tony, in the past. It's Tony Vesey. Tony, we've talked long and hard about what Crawley needed to do in the build-up to this final couple of games of the season. They're almost across the line, and a point today will ensure safety. And in front of their own fans after that brilliant victory last week, they're surely going to get the job done today.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. We've talked long and hard over recent games about where we need to be and the points we need to get, and we're nearly there. And we can't slip up now. It's got to be done. It'll be great to do it today. Perfect day for football. Big crowd, and hopefully we get a performance to go with it.
Scott said to me after the Colchester game here a couple of weeks ago that going to Hartlepool, Crawley needed to play the game and not so much the occasion. Then after the game last week, he said that his side hadn't played overly well, but had got the job done. And this afternoon, they sort of need to concentrate on just playing the game again, don't they, and not the occasion, and getting the job done. Yeah,
it's the oldest cliche. It is just another game, and you've got to treat it as such, the old one game at a time. We know it's vitally important. We don't want to be going to Swindon with still something on that game. We do want to complete the task today, and then they can enjoy themselves at Swindon, and then they're already starting to think about next season from what Scott was saying this week. So let's get the job done and move on.
I know you weren't there to see the game at Hartlepool last week. It was a fantastic atmosphere and not a great team performance, but a great time to get only your second away victory of the season. And let's just have a chat about that second goal of Dom Telford's, because it comes down from an almighty height for him to control it with just one touch and then put it in the back of the net. Scott said to me afterwards it was like it was going to come down with snow on it. But the importance of that goal and the quality of that goal, if that was scored in the Premier League by Kane, Rashford, Haaland, somebody like that, that would be being shown again and again and again, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that first touch was world class.
Yeah.
It came, as you say, right out of the air. It had travelled 80 yards. It was coming over his shoulder, and he just controlled it in his stride. Didn't need another touch, and just stroked it in the back of the net. I mean, it was a phenomenal goal and a great time as well. We were 1-0 up, just gave us that extra breathing space, and perhaps then Hartlepool's heads completely went down, and we managed to see the game out relatively comfortably. So it was an unbelievable goal.
Reflecting on the season as a whole there, Tony, because we've seen most of the games here this season, it started not overly well. Kevin Betsy in charge. Obviously he went in about October. Lewis Young took over for a spell. Matt Etherington came in. Darren Byfield then took over. And now Scott has taken things since January. And the home form since January has been very, very good. Only Carlisle have come here and taken the 3 points. This place has become a little bit of a fortress since January.
Yeah, I think I've made a focus on it throughout, since I've been doing Sunday Next to a Commentator, is that you've got to win your home games. You've got to try and win your home games, entertain your own crowd, and then try and pick up points away from home. And thankfully, Scott, since he's come here, has managed to do that, and as you say, make the Broadfield a bit of a fortress. And it's seen as near enough over the line because our away form has still been relatively poor. So he's done a great job in that respect.
If it goes Crawley's way today, and at 5 o'clock the fans are maybe on the pitch celebrating the point, or hopefully the 3 points that the club need to ensure survival next season, there will be a celebratory mood, obviously all the way around the club. But will it be a little bit tarnished? Do you think that that's all that Crawley are celebrating this season, and that we're not running onto the pitch or calling a commentary in celebration of busting into the playoffs or gaining an automatic promotion place?
Yeah, I think, again, you talk about reflection. Once 5 o'clock, 5:30's gone, you wake up tomorrow morning and clearly you will be quite disappointed as the way the season's gone. Well, more than quite disappointed. It's been a poor season, not what everybody's expecting back in August, and perhaps it's the case of just want to get it over and done with now, and then get the planning going for next season. Who's coming, who's not, who's going, all those kind of things. Loans going back, loans coming back. So we've got players out on loan. What's going to happen with them, and all that planning that goes in the post-season. It's going to be really interesting. But let's get today over with, and then we can move on.
There's a little awards ceremony after the game tonight where there's 3 awards being given out: Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Goal of the Season. I know that I messaged you in the week to sort of get you to have a think about stuff. where would you pin your vote for player of the season?
Well, I've gone for Jack Powell, which might be a bit out there, but he's played the most games, and a lot's been made of stats this season, rightly or wrongly, and we're not keen on stats. But you look at his stats, his pass rate is 2/3 more than anybody else. His completions are 2/3 more than anybody else. He's played more games than anybody else. He's got 3 goals in the goal of the season competition.
Yeah.
So clearly a lot of what we do goes through Jack Powell.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, that's why I've looked at him. Goal of the season last week. We talked about it. I think it's an unbelievable goal. And young player, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
A really tricky one. Rafiq Khalil's done well when he's come on. So maybe him. I'm just trying to get my head around what the definition of a young player is.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll think about that through the next 90 minutes, maybe.
Okay. You say about last week's goal by Don winning the Goal of the Season award for the quality of the goal, but also what it meant at the time to give Crawley a 2-goal advantage in such an important game.
It had everything wrapped around it.
Yeah.
That first touch, like we said, you can't do that. 99 times out of 100, that's going to go away. You've lost control. The keeper's going to pick it up, and it was just that one time when we really needed it in such a game of importance. That was unbelievable. So, definitely that's the reason for that goal.
If you were in charge of things, Tony, over the summer, where would you be thinking that Crawley need to strengthen ahead of next season? What sort of positions around the squad?
I think that you don't finish where we're finishing without having to strengthen in nearly all areas.
Yeah.
There's much improvement to be made. If Scott Lindsay had been manager at the beginning of the season, would we be in a different position to be on now? I think most certainly yes.
Yeah.
Would be the answer to that. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh where every region needs to be, but everybody wants to strengthen. Or if you stand still, you go backwards compared to everybody else. So you look at all areas during the post-season because nobody's safe at that point. You've got to come back in pre-season and still fight for your place.
Absolutely, yeah. Just finally then, Tony, a big thanks from me for your contribution during the course of the season. Just give us a prediction for this afternoon. Are they going to do it in style?
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-0 at least,
okay.
Maybe 3 hopefully.
Yeah.
But as you say, they're in a real poor run of form.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't change that today, and everybody goes home after a great performance, and we're all nice and safe and can have a nice little.
Nothing riding on going to Swindon next week at all. It's all done and dusted.
It's the last thing anybody wants.
No, exactly. Well, there you go. There's Tony's thoughts on things for today. You can join Tony and myself on iFollow from 10 to 3 this afternoon for full match commentary of Crawley Town versus Walsall in his final home match of the season. If you want to comment on this video, there's a little thing just underneath here, I think. So you can like it, you can comment, you can even subscribe to the channel if you want to, or you can get in touch with me during the game at GTS Sport on the Twitter or gts.sport@yahoo.co.uk. Wherever you are in the world, it would be lovely to hear from you, to know that you're out there backing the boys in this vital League 2 fixture this afternoon. 3 o'clock kickoff, Crawley Town versus Walsall.